The worst thing about being a professional distance runner. Now, it is relatable this to anybody who's getting into running for the first time, trying to get to 5K, trying to get a marathon PB, or trying to run 100 miles, or trying to run for 7 days. It doesn't matter. It's relatable because what you've become, hopefully, is pretty obsessed with your passion, pretty obsessed with something that you're passionate about and want to get better at. And the worst thing about being a professional distance runner, therefore, is relatable because you kind of have to let go of who you are. And what I mean by that is you have to become a professional distance runner, you have to be as good as you possibly can be, the best possible version of yourself. And in order to get there, you need to be tunnel visioned, completely obsessed with the pursuit. And what that means is saying no to 99% of the things that land on your table. So I'm talking weddings, I'm talking nights out, I'm talking going for a coffee at the wrong time of the day that doesn't suit you. I'm talking being a selfish mother in order to be tunnel visioned and obsessed with the final destination, obsessed with the journey, obsessed with the systems, processes that you put in place, that nothing else can come into it because you've got that short, medium, and long-term goal in order to know where, in order to get to where you want to be. It means that you have to step out of normal society and step into a realm that very few people, including your very best friends, and eventually they will get it, but regularly, even your family will not get it. And the people around you, your work colleagues, definitely not get it. And it seems, you have to be unreasonable. And not a lot of people will get that. So when you can't go to a wedding because you have a race in 2-3 weeks, a regular person's going to say, well, you can come to the wedding. It's not the same weekend. It's not the same day. Or you could do the race in the morning and then come to the wedding. They don't understand it from a point of, I'm totally focused, every fiber of my being in terms of focusing on my sleep. Got to get 8-9 hours sleep because I've got to recover as fast and as full as I possibly can. Diet, all my hydration, all the tools that I've got in terms of blender, food, etc., is in my house, is in my training camp, wherever I am, in order to make me the best possible, the fastest possible athlete to get ready for that race. Whatever part of the cycle you're in your training schedule, that will be an important cycle, whether it's getting fit in order to start the dedicated 10 weeks. And you can be a little bit more relaxed then, but most of the year, if you're an ultra runner, like I have been, and you have got maybe 4 races a year that you're A races, maybe 6 to 8 races that you're kind of like other races as well, and the rest are kind of fillers in between that. You've only got 10, 12 races maximum per year. And people like Killian and Jim, the very, very best of our sport, they're only racing 2-3 times a year, really full gas. So in order to protect those races, you cannot be anything more than absolutely obsessed. And nobody's going to get that apart from your partner, maybe. And this is the next part of it. This is the next worst part of it. Because you cannot be yourself, and that's been me for more than 10 years, I've not been open to relationships. I've not been open to new friendships because I can't take on something that's not going to be conducive of getting me to where I want to get to. That's how selfish you need to be. And that's a weird thing to say, that it's selfish in order not to open yourself up to a relationship and commit. But that's what you have to do. And that might be selfish in terms of your being selfish with your real self. You're not allowing your real self to come through because that would mean, okay, well, we're going to go on vacation for the weekend. We're going to go away for the weekend. I can come out for coffee because all of a sudden I'm into something. Can't be like that. And so you have to say goodbye to the person that you really are, and you have to become this relentless, resilient, just determined, dedicated person who's super disciplined and who will not let anything get in the way. As we've talked many times about habits, once you have those systems and processes in place and that hyper discipline, it's really easy to say no because it's easy to know whether something does or doesn't fit into your medium long-term plan. It's very easy to do that and you become an expert at it. But what it means is you lose friends along the way. You lose really good friends. It was only this year I had a wedding in Spain and a wedding in France. 2 very, very close friends. And I didn't go, and there was other issues, there was visa issues, etc. But I could have been, long story short, I could have been there. I could have gone on my own and I could have been there. But I had my training, I had everything else to do along the way. And there's part of me that still cannot allow myself, it beats myself up over that because I should have been there. These are people that have been there for me. You know, my friend James we've been to the Annapurnas together. We've been to the Himalayas. We've been on to trips in Granada. We've been in a few different places all over Spain, and he's always been there for me, always, and kind of would drop everything at a moment in order to kind of help me. And then the one day that he's fallen in love, he wants to get married. He wants me to be there. I'm not there for him. because of training. And yeah, there was some visa issues, and maybe but I should have been there. It's as simple as that. So I regret that, and I cannot get that day back. And so I'm going to continually apologize until it really sticks. But maybe those people write you off forever, you know, because that, as you get older and you kind of go to a few weddings, and I was at a wedding a month ago because it was here in Dubai, you realize that that's an incredibly special day for somebody, probably the most special day that they'll ever have. And anybody who has been invited and doesn't show up, you would write off, and you would think, well, how much of a friend is this if they actually can't be there on the real day that I want them to be there? So long story short, you have to say goodbye to the person that you truly are, and you can pick that person back up when you kind of retire or slow down from running, and then you kind of revisit a whole new life. But in those dedicated years, and for me, it's over a decade now, I cannot be myself. And so the person that somebody is getting of me when they meet me is not the true Lee, it's the dedicated, focused athlete. And from time to time, I can let my guard down. As I've said before, I can go exploring in Thailand, in the Himalayas, in Granada, in Spain, Camino de Santiago. I can do those things. But really, in my head, I'm still training. I remember a time when I went to Camino de Santiago, and it was a big thing. This was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. It was a big thing for my partner at the time. And but for me, I was going there not as a 30-day walk. I wanted to train. I wanted to carry a heavy backpack, train along the way, build strength in my lower legs and glutes and quads and hamstrings, and that would feed nicely back in to my training when and that was my kind of month off. Whereas for the other person, that was like a holiday, the holiday of a lifetime, in order to go and do that, to spend those 3-4 weeks just walking to Camino de Santiago. And I was in a completely different headspace, but it's always been like that for me. When I look at situations of, okay, we're going hiking, I'll be racing. You know, I was a friend of our friend James, Paul, and we went to Himalayas together, and we kind of made it into it was going to be a video shoot and photo shoot to promote a sports nutrition brand. And a friend Paul came there, and he got really angry with me because I wanted to I was there to train, and as a byproduct, we would get the photos we need to, and we'd get the videos we need to. He was there as a videographer to take images, to take images and videos. And so at the vital moments that I needed to be there, I was off like way ahead and was going to meet up with everybody later, and we'd kind of do sunset and sunrise, and I sometimes wasn't there because I was like, great, okay, this is brilliant. This is like a 5-kilometer track. I'm going to do it as fast as I possibly can. Put it on Strava, etc., all that kind of stuff. And for me, it was training. And by the way, we're going to get photos and videos. For him, it was like, we're going to get photos and videos, and it's going to be a bloody tough walk in order to get to Annapurna Base Camp. So it's a different mindset completely, and very few people will understand that. And so you'll end up losing friends, and you'll end up losing family as well, because they'll say that they'll always be there for you, but there'll always be that moment, especially if it goes on for a long time, like over 10 years, there'll always be that moment that Lee's a selfish prick, actually. He looks out for himself, and he's absolutely determined, obsessed on his target, and yeah, that's great for him, and it's kind of running is a very, very selfish pursuit. It's going to benefit you. But hopefully the people close to you, your very close friends, your very close family, and your loved one, will realize that that makes the best version of you. So what actually happens is, although this is the kind of worst part of being a professional distance runner, what hopefully happens is the people that do stick with you are the people that really love you. And the people that want to understand your transition and appreciate that transition into something infinitely more positive for your life than my old life as kind of a recruiter partier. And there's nothing wrong with recruitment, but what comes with it is a lot of partying and stuff like that. My life now is so much better, and I'm in such a great place. And the people that have been on that ride with me and have stuck for the ride, I now know who my tribe is moving forward in my life. I now know who really loves me, and I love them back. So yeah, it's the worst thing, but you couldn't probably have a better filter in terms of who's really on this, who is really my friend and who isn't. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you because it came up and it really made me think in the moment, and I had to give the honest answer, and that's the worst thing about being a professional athlete. And yeah, hope you got something from that. And if you can resonate with some of that and some of that in your life, maybe you kind of like your family, friends, etc. don't understand you, they don't get you. That's fine. Leave a comment for me and let me know how you're getting on with that and how you deal with it. And maybe I can help you out and tell you how it's worked with certain friends. Because sometimes all it takes is a sit down